Good morning, welcome to Habits Unplugged. In this video I'm going to share with you 5 ways stopping drinking alcohol can quickly and easily transform your health. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Kevin O'Hara. I own habitsv2.com. We coach people to tap into their potential for growth instead of tapping out with alcohol. And as usual, all these videos here on Habits Unplugged channel, they're aimed at people who want to stop drinking alcohol and use that as a springboard to grow in their lives, right? And if you're looking to trade your long-term well-being for short-term gratification, then this video is probably not for you. Okay, the thing is with alcohol, if you just stop alcohol, if that's the only thing that you do, it's going to improve your health, right? Your body, if it's left to its own devices, is a wonderful thing, right? It has the full capacity to keep you alive and to keep you well and keep you thriving, right? We are the biggest obstacles that our body faces. So stop drinking alcohol, get on board with what else you know your body needs. Feed your body well, give your body good exercise, sleep, that kind of stuff, and watch as the magic naturally happens. Okay, where the alcohol flows, the damage goes. So the opposite is also true. Once you turn off the alcohol tap, you stop the alcohol flow, you stop that damage. Hippocrates had a few famous sayings, but one of the less famous was, the greatest medicine of all is teaching people how not to need it. Now, I think that's the same here. People treat alcohol as medication. I know that I used to. Nobody likes it when you point out that truth, but when you need alcohol to relax, that's medication. When you need alcohol to socialize, that's medication. When you need alcohol to unwind, that's medication. When you need alcohol to escape, again, medication. Zig Ziglar said, the first step to getting what you want is to have the courage to get rid of what you don't. If you want to have an amazing life, your first step is to decide that you're done with all of the things that are hurting you. Starting off with alcohol. I'm done with alcohol. I'm not going to put that into my body anymore, and commit to that. You can't. I've gone through my life a lot of times and have had a half-arsed commitment. So you've got to be fully committed to these things. Otherwise, you're just going to give yourself any excuse, and it's in that part that you're not committed that you're going to give yourself the most excuses. So step 1, make a decision about where you want to be, what your desired outcome is. Step 2, stop the flow of alcohol. Step 3, make the focus of your life moving forwards, that vision of your future becoming a reality. If you're finding this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, so you don't miss any future videos. Now, once the alcohol tap turns off, once it stays off, that repairing process is gonna begin, right? I have a theory about this, and I think that there's a kind of a latency period between when you stop drinking and when that renewal process begins. When your body really starts to kick in with the process of healing your body. I can't tell you what a relief it was for me to finally feel that my body was doing what it was supposed to be doing, right? Really. There's a conflict that goes on in the mind of every drinker, and it's a conflict that we do our level best to stomp out of existence. And for me, that's the human version of the ostrich sticking its head underneath the sand, and it's thinking, if I can't see them, they can't see me, right? Drinkers do exactly the same thing, only we're doing it with a chemical instead of sticking our head underneath the sand. And it's really a chemical castration of the brain, right? I mean, all you have to do is look at any drunk, right? Look at somebody who's completely drunk and you'll see how disconnected they are from reality, right? Part of that conflict for me is that I knew full well that the alcohol was a toxin, right? You try and hide from it as much as you can, but you still drink the stuff. I knew full well it was a toxin. That was one of the biggest feelings of relief that I had. I remember walking into the mountains around where we were living at the time when I stopped drinking, a couple of months after I'd stopped, in Alicante. and just having this feeling of elation. I had this grin from ear to ear, and it was really the first time that I felt the burden that I've been carrying lift off my shoulders, and it was down to that. It wasn't that, when I was drinking, I was just aware of the toxins that were in my system. I was fully aware of the consequences as well. Now, that healing process that you're going to go through, it's slow, but that's okay. You've better things to do with your mind now than to be worrying about those things. It is what it is. You have to do what you can to help your body on the physical side. Like I said earlier, do what you can with nutrition, with exercise, with sleep, all of that kind of stuff. Try and feed your body the building blocks that it needs. But then you have to let your body do its work and focus your mind on where you want to go. Focusing on creating that contented life, right? The life where you're doing the things that you want to do, the life where you're being the person that you want to be. And any thoughts about ever going back to this old life, they're just going to fade from your mind, right? It's like I said, it doesn't happen overnight, but this, once you're on the right path, choose the right path from the beginning, and you'll find that it soon disappears from your mind. Now this one is huge, and I think it's completely underrated, the massive impact that this can have on your life. I think about my life in terms of time and energy feeding into growth, which equals health and wealth. And that growth, it can go both ways, right? You can have growth in prosperity, you can have growth in your health, you can have growth in your fitness. You can also, on the other side of it, you can have growth in your anxiety, growth in your debt, growth in your waist size. And for me, alcohol robs you of time and energy, which feeds into that negative growth, which diminishes your health and your wealth. And one of the things that does exactly the same thing is inadequate sleep. Does the same thing. So you have all the negatives from alcohol, and one of the negatives is that you don't sleep well, right? When you have alcohol in your system, your body just is spending so much time processing this crap that you're not sleeping, right? So that is going to add to your problems, add to your troubles, right? Think about how one single night's sleep, one single good night's sleep can transform your next day. I mean, you feel good, you have more energy, you have more positivity about yourself, you get more done. I'm a much calmer, much nicer person when I've had a good night's sleep, right? Now think about how getting a good night's sleep every night, how is that going to transform your life? Think about it. Every day you get up, you're raring to go. Every day you have energy to burn. Every day you feel bright and happy and contented. Every day you get up and you've just got that bit more potential to tap into, right? It's such a pleasure to get up in the morning without a hangover. But in truth, when you have a couple of months underneath your belt with this kind of stuff, once you haven't had the alcohol going into your system for a while, you've stopped the flow, you can forget about all the hangovers. You don't think about them anymore. It just doesn't enter into the equation anymore. So, after 30 days with no alcohol, I was really getting the best sleeps that I'd had in a long time. I was sleeping well, I was getting up in the morning feeling refreshed. And, now it's just a normal part of my day to feel rested every morning. It's a normal part of my day to feel energized, to feel fit for purpose. Sleep is the best medicine. The more regular you can have your sleep habits, the better you're going to feel during the day, right? That's just a fact. The Dalai Lama had a great quote, and he said, "Sleep is the best meditation." And I couldn't agree more. There's an Irish proverb that says, A good laugh and a long sleep are the best cures in the doctor's book. Now, if you're looking to stop drinking alcohol and use it as one of the biggest windows of opportunity to grow your health, your relationships and your wealth, go to habitsv2.com. When I was a drinker, it seemed like I just never had any energy to do the things that I wanted to do, right? The more I drank, the less energy I had. When I'm talking about the things that I wanted to do, my whole existence was really more constricted towards drinking alcohol. So, the more I drank, the less energy I had, the more I was drawn to drinking alcohol, because it really doesn't take much energy, right, to drink alcohol, to lift the glass from the counter up to my mouth, and then to rinse and repeat that process over and over again. And yeah, there's the hangover to think about. The hangovers, for me, they will come in more frequent, but when you're drinking, that comes tomorrow. You don't think about that today, and when tomorrow came, the hangover, it's temporary. It's a part of the process that you're in. I mean, the amount of times that I said to myself, I'm never going to drink again, that's it, I'm over and done with this. Then a hangover starts to wane, and you're back onto it again. You're always looking forward to that temporary fix that you're going to go back into either that evening or the next day or the weekend or whatever it is. And I just spent a lot of time in that recovery mode. Sometimes it felt like I was in recovery mode all the time. It's one of the reasons I've never called myself, or I've never said that I'm in recovery when I stopped drinking alcohol, when I got rid of this poison. That was part of my old life. It's the same with sober or alcoholic. I refuse to do that, because you're attaching yourself to that old way of thinking. Now, going back to the energy, when my body's using the energy to heal itself. My body's using the energy to get rid of the toxin, to recover, and the rest of my energy went into my job, to working, to pay the bills, to looking after my son as best as I could under those circumstances. And as I've pointed out already, when you're not sleeping well, that just takes away from it. Sleep is essential for getting your batteries recharged, and without a good sleep, you're starting off that day, every day, on a partial battery. It's not fully charged, and whatever charge you've got in your own batteries, it just gets drained quicker, because your body is using a lot of energy to try and keep yourself clean, right, to keep yourself as toxic free as it can. What a losing battle that is, right? And then you quit drinking. I can't remember exactly when this happened for me or how long it took, but I felt, I don't know if it was just the idea that I'd finally convinced myself to stop drinking alcohol, right? I think it was such a big relief, as I said, to make that decision. After all these years of faffing around with nonsense ways of trying to stop without actually stopping, all the moderation, all the bullshit of cutting down, and I just felt, when I'm thinking, this is 11 years ago now, so, but I did so much in that first month that my energy levels must have been sky high. Some people find that it takes them a lot longer than others to feel that full energy coursing through their bodies, but it always comes. Sometimes I have to do a lot more work with some of the lads that I coach. We have to find out what else needs to be changed. It's not just the alcohol. Think about the alcohol as one of the habits that you have, and then because you're drinking alcohol, you've got all these other habits, these other bad habits, this other negative shit in your life that you've got to also deal with. When I was drinking, I was eating crap, I was not exercising, so you can't just expect that you stop drinking alcohol and that's the one thing that's going to give you an energy boost. I mean, it did for me, but I think I got that really from my motivation to stop drinking alcohol. But like I said, we dig around a little bit and it always comes. Quitting alcohol means gaining so much freedom in your life, right? And for me, it's a word that comes to mind is vitality. It's not just that you get your energy back, it's it's what you use that energy for that really makes a difference, right? Use the energy for something productive, something that you feel, something that feeds your brain with positivity, that moves you forwards, moves you towards really consistent positive outcomes. And you boost your energy levels, right? You feel good. You just use your energy differently, right? Stopping the flow of alcohol, that's the first step to really allowing your body to bloom. Sometimes that process takes a little bit longer than you might have anticipated in the beginning. And, that can depend on what outcomes you want in your life, what outcomes you're heading towards, how much energy you're pulling from those hopeful visions that are really dragging you forwards in your life. So you have more energy, not only for you to use to change the course of your life, but you've also got more energy that your body can use to heal itself, right? It can only use the building blocks that you actually give it. Now, I try to emphasize to my clients as much as I can that it's not just about the physical health side of this. I think the mental side of this, the mental health, is much more important. That's the thing that you can work on. Like I said, your body will deal with a lot of the physical stuff on its own. You feed it the right tools, you feed it the right building blocks, give it good nutrition, good exercise, and it will do the things on its own. But your mental health, I think you have to work on that. I don't think there is any part of this journey that improves to such a degree, right, and with such speed as your mental health. But there's a caveat. It has to be if you have a vision of where you want to go, at least a direction that you want to take, you want to move towards, right? You've got some idea of where you want to go. Your brain wants that, your brain craves that, your brain needs that. Imagine what it's like for somebody to stop drinking alcohol and then they feel lost. They feel like they're an alcoholic. They feel like they can never have any fun again. What does that do to your mental health, right? One of the biggest reasons people drink until they can't think anymore is because they're living a life that they can't bear to think about, right? Although the alcohol numbs your mind in the moment, it also adds to the problem in the long term. It adds to the problem the next morning when you're not drunk anymore, right? And now you've got a stinking hangover to deal with, but you've also got the shitty life that you're dealing with because of all the alcohol that you're drinking. It's easy to see how somebody can push themselves so far down that hellhole that they never want to be sober. Really for me, getting up every day with alcohol in my system, I don't think it matters if you're drinking every day or every second day or at the weekends. You're still putting a toxin into your body that's pulling resources from your body, that's pulling energy from your body, that's pulling your time, that's giving you negative growth. These are things that your body can't handle, right? And that was killing me. Slowly but surely it was just killing me. And over time, the alcohol depresses your brain function. Getting up every day, feeling rough, every day getting up feeling like that. And I drank for over 30 years of my life. That's 2/3 of my adult life so far. And especially in the last 10 years, I think that was the biggest problem. So the issue is that when you drink for that long, that you get used to feeling like that. You get used to feeling like crap. You get used to your brain being depressed. You get used to the brain fog, to the dopamine drain, right? All those feel-good chemicals that you have, the serotonin, the dopamine, they all get blasted, and what you're living through, the person you are, the feelings in your body, the dullness of your mind, that all becomes normality. You think it's normal to behave like that because it happens over such a slow period of time, right? You think the tiredness is normal. You think having no energy is normal. You think, getting up in the morning and not feeling like you've had a good rest, that's normal. And then you make that one single decision. You pack up your beer bottles, you throw them into a bag and you ship them out to the garbage where they belong, right? And it might take a few days. For some people it might take a few weeks. You know, if you're on that right path, if you're determined to head towards a better life and a better person, and you have a goal in mind, you have a vision in mind, you're going to realize what a normally functioning body feels like, what a normally functioning brain feels like. You know, it's almost as if you see yourself afresh for the first time in your life, right? You know, seeing what you're capable of for the first time in your life, seeing your potential spreading out in front of you, full of the choices that are available to you, full of hope, full of opportunity. And then you get to that new normal. You know, I know some people who stopped drinking alcohol, right? Who have stopped drinking alcohol in the past, and they don't like their new normal. And that's because they've changed nothing else. Like I've said, if you approach this as something that you need to hide from, as something that you need to fear, as something that you need to be ashamed of, as something that you're forever going to be missing out on, that there's something wrong with you, right? Instead of focusing forward to the things that you can do in your life now, people focus backwards on the one thing that they can't do in their life, you know, the one thing that has been causing all this problem in the first place. So you're swapping one prison cell for another. That's all you're doing, right? So the best thing you can do for your mental health is to stop poisoning yourself, and don't replace it with another poison, particularly another mind poison. Like I said, you know, that considering yourself an alcoholic, considering that you have a disease, thinking about yourself as having a bad gene, thinking about yourself as woe is you, you're a victim now, you know, that's a mind poison that you don't need in your life. You know, when you make the decision to stop drinking alcohol, don't be ashamed of it, right? Stopping this poison, you're stepping away from that old life and you're starting this new life, and your life will just improve just because of that one thing, right? Now imagine what you can do if you put that clear mind, all that time and energy that you have on your hands now, if you put these things into thinking about positive growth towards what you really want in your life, how much that is going to improve your life, your health and your wealth. All right, let's, for the crack, I'll give you another 12 ways that alcohol transforms your health, and the last 4 that I'm going to talk about are what I mean by increasing your health. It's not about having more money. It's good to have more money, lads. You know, I love having more money in my life, but wealth is a lot deeper than that. So, number 1, your liver works better, your heart works better, your brain works better. Weight loss, right? You'll get some weight loss. You know, everything else being equal, if you take the alcohol out of the situation, you're going to get weight loss. Another thing that I found, you know, it's not something that is right straight up in front of your head, but your immune system is definitely going to work better. Your digestive system is definitely going to work better. You will find that you've got healthier, glowing skin. Your hair, if you've got any, will be glowing, and will be in a much more healthier state. Who'd like to have their cancer risk reduced? I mean, that's a benefit as well. Now, better mood and more stable emotions in general. That's a huge part of this wealth that you're generating for yourself. Another part of this wealth is that your relationships are going to be better. They work better. You know, you work your relationships better. You're just a much more well-rounded, happy, contented person to be around. And, you know, that spreads to other people in your life. You know, you create what you sow. Is that the term? On average, this is another one. You know, there's no guarantees of this, but on average, you're going to live better. And the final one is that your quality of life is going to improve. So you're improving the quantity of your life, which is a good thing, but you're also improving the quality of your life. Take good care of yourself. I'll speak to you again the next video. Onwards and upwards. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth.